Vanishing of the USS Cyclops, a century-old naval mystery. The saga of the USS Cyclops and its commander, Pavlopetri, echoes the sea's power to guard history, sheltering the remnants of bygone civilizations beneath its surface until they're unearthed many generations later. But not every maritime enigma provides tangible hints. Some disappear altogether, offering more riddles than resolutions. As we shift our gaze from the depths of ancient times to the era of steel and steam, we confront a modern conundrum, one that has confounded naval personnel, scholars, and researchers for over 100 years. Unlike lost cities buried by time, this case doesn't involve erosion or ancient ruins, but rather a massive military ship, a wartime mission, and a vanishing act so absolute that not even the smallest fragment has surfaced. In 1918, the USS Cyclops, a towering vessel of the United States Navy, was carrying out what was supposed to be a standard operation across the Atlantic Ocean. On board were more than 300 individuals, immense loads of supplies, and a ship believed to be engineered to endure the demands of warfare. Yet, somewhere in the open sea between Barbados and Baltimore, the Cyclops vanished. Not a single emergency transmission, no floating debris, no one returned. It was as though the ocean itself devoured her whole. What caused the USS Cyclops to vanish? Was it a breakdown in its systems, a sudden squall, or did something darker unfold? The truth remains unknown. Now let's delve into the unsettling chronicle of the Cyclops, a vessel that departed into naval history but never came back. During the early 1900s, the United States Navy was rapidly expanding, aiming to project military strength across international waters. Dominance at sea would require more than just destroyers and battleships. It would also depend on the logistical machinery that fueled them. Enter the USS Cyclops, a maritime giant of her generation and a pivotal support ship in the Navy's logistical chain. Launched in 1910, the Cyclops was one of 4 Proteus-class colliers built for the crucial task of transporting immense amounts of coal, the key energy source for steam-powered fleets. Measuring an impressive 542 feet in length and 65 feet across, she was a floating industrial marvel, capable of moving over 12,000 tons of coal in one voyage. Her enormous load capacity and robust design made her a marvel of marine engineering and an essential instrument in America's growing naval might. But there was more to the Cyclops than sheer size. Her layout reflected forward-thinking craftsmanship. Her steel body and airtight compartments were crafted to endure some of the roughest seas. Inside, her massive cargo areas were precisely organized for maximum space efficiency. Though her maximum velocity was a modest 15 knots, her build was focused on dependability. The ship's reinforced structure allowed it to undertake lengthy transoceanic missions with confidence. By 1914, when the First World War erupted, oil was swiftly emerging as the Navy's preferred fuel, pushing coal into obsolescence. Yet this transition didn't retire the Cyclops. Instead, her duties evolved. She transformed into a versatile transporter, hauling whatever was necessary for the war, from fuel and weapons to equipment and military personnel. In this new capacity, the Cyclops became a cornerstone of naval logistics, a dependable deliverer of vital materials wherever they were demanded. Then, in January of 1918, the ship received new directives: carry 10,800 tons of manganese ore from Brazil to the United States. Manganese was essential to the production of fortified steel, a crucial component for making weapons and machinery for the war effort. The planned journey would begin in Rio de Janeiro, make a stop in Salvador, and continue northward toward Baltimore, Maryland. The ship left Rio without incident and arrived in Salvador by mid-February. After loading the entire cargo of ore, she set sail for the north, passing through the calm waters of the Caribbean Sea. a region well known for its generally tranquil weather conditions. All signs pointed to this being a routine mission, one the Cyclops had successfully completed on numerous occasions. She docked in Barbados on March 3, 1918, to replenish supplies and submit standard paperwork. Her commanding officer, Lieutenant Commander George W. Worley, reported no issues. Everything appeared to be in perfect working order. On March 4th, she departed Barbados en route to Baltimore. Her arrival was anticipated later that month. But after leaving port, she was never seen again. She didn't radio for help, no fragments drifted ashore, no survivors reached land. The colossal vessel, along with her 309 souls and vast store of manganese, simply disappeared. The abrupt loss of the USS Cyclops shocked the nation and puzzled the Navy. This wasn't a minor craft, it was a behemoth of naval strength, led by seasoned seamen and built to endure severe conditions at sea. How could a ship of such caliber disappear so completely? Naval officials immediately launched inquiries, but the absence of physical proof left them directionless. As soon as the ship failed to dock in Baltimore, rescue efforts commenced. Aircraft and marine vessels combed her presumed course, covering countless miles of ocean. Coastal cities from the southeastern United States to South America were placed on alert. Radio operators scanned frequencies for emergency messages, but no signals came, no survivors surfaced, no flotsam floated by. Even in the most tragic shipwrecks, remnants usually remain: planks, barrels, personal effects, even life vests. But in the case of the Cyclops, the Atlantic remained ominously quiet. It was as if the sea had consumed her and erased every trace. Adding to the mystery was the ship's failure to issue a distress signal. While wireless communication was still in its early stages, the Cyclops was equipped with a functional radio system and personnel trained to use it. If danger had been spotted in time, why wasn't a message sent? This raised a chilling possibility. Whatever had occurred may have happened so swiftly, the crew never had the chance to respond. More than 100 years have now passed, and yet the riddle of the USS Cyclops still lingers in modern minds. With recent advancements in undersea technology and a renewed drive to revisit historical mysteries, contemporary researchers are once again examining the ship's fate, hoping new tools or insights might bring long-sought answers. One major advancement breathing new life into the search is the deployment of deep-sea exploration technology. Using ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, and enhanced sonar scanners, investigators have been able to probe regions of the ocean that were previously unreachable. Although no confirmed wreckage of the Cyclops has yet surfaced, these instruments have uncovered several other long-lost wrecks, proving that even massive ships can remain hidden in the ocean's vast, unexplored regions. Some modern theories suggest that the Cyclops may have suffered from hidden structural problems. Historical blueprints imply that the ship's framework could become unstable when loaded too heavily. The manganese ore she was hauling was extremely dense and prone to shifting if not properly secured. Even a minor shift could have upset the ship's balance, potentially causing it to capsize almost instantly. This would also explain why no warning was ever transmitted. Another possible explanation revolves around Lieutenant Commander George Worley. His leadership has been questioned in the years since. Reports from previous missions described his behavior as erratic, temperamental, and difficult. Additionally, whispers about his German roots spread during a time when suspicion toward anything German was extremely high due to wartime tensions. Though no definitive evidence links him to foul play, his actions have remained a point of debate. The possibility of enemy attack has also been raised. During World War I, German U-boats operated heavily in the Atlantic, targeting Allied vessels. While there's no verified record of a submarine engaging the Cyclops, incomplete wartime logs leave room for speculation. However, critics point out that U-boat attacks typically leave behind some debris or oil slicks, something that never occurred here. The Bermuda Triangle theory, while widely dismissed by academics, continues to draw public fascination. The Cyclops vanished within the boundaries of this infamous region, known for strange disappearances. Some suggest unusual natural phenomena may be to blame, from methane gas eruptions to massive rogue waves or even anomalies in Earth's magnetic field. These theories, though lacking empirical proof, add an extra dimension of intrigue to the story. One particularly compelling theory suggests that a combination of minor technical flaws, excessive cargo, and rough waters could have sparked a deadly chain reaction. This theory acknowledges that no single event may have doomed the ship, but rather a collision of multiple unfortunate factors. Efforts to locate the final resting place of the Cyclops continue to this day. Organizations that specialize in underwater archaeology have launched plans to scan the vessel's projected path using today's cutting-edge mapping tools. But the immense breadth of the Atlantic and its crushing depths make the operation a monumental challenge. Despite the hurdles, the drive to solve the Cyclops enigma endures. Whether she rests intact on the ocean floor or was torn apart in seconds, her fate remains a chilling testament to the sea's ability to withhold its secrets. For now, all we have are questions, conjectures, and the captivating mystery of one of history's most confounding naval disappearances. The vanished voyage of the SS Waratah, Australia's Lost Titanic. In the early 20th century, steamships represented the pinnacle of maritime travel, vessels that married modern engineering with the age of colonial trade. Among them stood the SS Waratah, a passenger and cargo ship designed to connect South Africa and Australia. Dubbed the Titanic of the South for its grandeur and promise, the Waratah carried great expectations. But in July 1909, during only its second voyage, the ship mysteriously vanished without a trace off the coast of South Africa, triggering a century-long enigma that continues to confound experts. The SS Waratah was constructed in Scotland by the Blue Anchor Line. It measured approximately 500 feet in length, with a gross tonnage of over 9,000 tons, and was designed to cater to both passengers and cargo. The ship boasted luxurious accommodations and modern conveniences, appealing to affluent travelers while also servicing trade routes between Europe, Africa, and Australia. On July 1st, 1909, the Waratah departed from Durban, South Africa, bound for Cape Town. On board were 211 passengers and crew members. At first, the voyage proceeded without incident. However, concerns about the ship's stability had already been whispered during its maiden voyage. Some passengers described how the ship rolled uncomfortably in the sea, and there were doubts about whether its design had made it top-heavy. Despite these murmurs, the vessel was cleared to sail again. The Waratah departed Durban on July 26, 1909, and was last sighted the following morning by the Clan McIntyre, a steamer traveling the same route. According to the Clan McIntyre's captain, everything appeared normal. Yet after that brief encounter, the Waratah vanished into the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. The ship's disappearance sparked one of the largest maritime search efforts of the time. Multiple vessels were dispatched along the South African coast to scour the waters between Durban and Cape Town. Despite extensive searches by sea and aerial reconnaissance, no wreckage, lifeboats, or bodies were ever found. The ocean had seemingly swallowed the Waratah whole. Several theories emerged to explain the disappearance. One of the leading suspicions involved the ship's alleged instability. Critics argued that its design rendered it vulnerable to capsizing in heavy seas. The ship may have encountered a rogue wave or storm, leading to a rapid sinking before any distress signals could be sent. Survivors from the Clan McIntyre later reported unusually rough seas that night, possibly lending weight to this hypothesis. Others speculated that a catastrophic event, such as a boiler explosion, might have caused the ship to go down so swiftly and silently. Some theories even veered into the paranormal, suggesting that the Waratah had met the same mysterious fate as other ships lost in supposedly cursed waters, like the Bermuda Triangle. Despite repeated attempts to locate the wreck, modern sonar surveys and deep-sea explorations have failed to uncover definitive evidence of the Waratah's resting place. Over the decades, the mystery has persisted, becoming a haunting chapter in maritime history. The disappearance of the SS Waratah left an indelible mark. Families were devastated, and the Blue Anchor Line's reputation never recovered. It ultimately ceased operations not long after. For historians and shipwreck hunters, the Waratah remains an elusive prize, its story emblematic of an era of grand ambition, shadowed by the unforgiving power of the sea. To this day, the fate of the SS Waratah remains unsolved, a ghost ship lost not only to the waters off South Africa, but to time itself. Ghost submarines of the Second World War. As we close the chapter on the haunting tale of the Waratah, which left us pondering the enormity and unpredictability of the seas, we now dive into another enigmatic maritime tale, this time from the era of global conflict, not luxury liners. This is the mysterious saga of the ghost submarines, hidden menaces that prowled the coastlines, baffled Allied naval forces, and continue to raise questions about the events hidden beneath the ocean's surface. World War II was not confined to trenches or aerial dogfights. It extended across the oceans, where the stakes were just as high and the threats just as uncertain. From the freezing North Atlantic to the warm, vast Pacific, submarines played a pivotal role. These covert, soundless machines skulked below the surface, breaking supply routes, sinking enemy ships, and occasionally tipping the scales of entire battles. But amid this fierce underwater theater of war, something peculiar began to emerge. Quite literally, reports started to surface, both metaphorically and in official documents, from naval personnel, commercial sailors, and military officers of submarines appearing where none should have been. These weren't idle sailor stories murmured in bunks. Many sightings were formally recorded, tracked, and even confronted by Allied forces. Still, the objects involved seemed to violate all logical understanding. The phrase ghost submarine gained traction, especially among those who'd experienced these baffling run-ins. These weren't standard German U-boats or Imperial Japanese submarines. They moved faster, were more agile, and could vanish without leaving the slightest sign. Some of these mysterious vessels appeared on radar, moving at impossible speeds for the era's known technologies. Other times, ships dropped depth charges on supposed targets only to find no wreckage, no oil, no debris. It was as if the sea had swallowed the intruder's whole. Adding to the tension was the wide geographic range of these sightings. In the icy waters near Iceland and Scotland, naval crews picked up odd sonar contacts that seemed to be playing games with them. In the North Sea, merchant vessels were silently tailed by unidentifiable shadows. In the Pacific's warmer reaches, U.S. destroyers encountered undersea craft so swift they eluded pursuit with ease. This wasn't just a collection of isolated anomalies. These incidents formed a global pattern stretching across both oceans and wartime calendars. For naval commanders, this raised disturbing questions. What were these unknown submarines? Were they cutting-edge enemy weapons, secret Allied experiments, or something altogether different? And most disturbingly, why couldn't they be intercepted? One of the earliest and most eerie events happened in 1942 near Iceland's coast. A British destroyer on patrol for German U-boats detected an odd sonar signal. The object was enormous, larger than any known submarine, and demonstrated maneuverability that should have been impossible for its size. Believing they'd encountered a new German prototype, the crew launched depth charges. Explosions tore through the cold sea, then nothing. No debris, no floating oil, no hint that a sub had ever existed there, and this was not a one-time fluke. Around the same period, a Norwegian cargo vessel reported being shadowed in the North Sea by an unknown sub over several days. The crew described how it surfaced at night, silently trailing from a distance like a phantom. Attempts to radio for help were scrambled. Classic German U-boat interference tactics. Yet when Allied ships arrived to investigate, the strange submarine was gone. No trace, no explanation. In the Pacific, matters grew even more bizarre. Near Guadalcanal in 1943, a U.S. destroyer picked up an object on sonar, moving faster than any Japanese sub. Torpedoes were launched, but the target dodged each with uncanny precision, as if it anticipated the strikes. The contact eventually vanished from radar completely, leaving the crew bewildered. These ghostly encounters all followed the same strange pattern: unknown submarines behaving beyond known capabilities, then suddenly vanishing. These weren't misread blips or rookie errors. Sailors were trained to identify enemy vessels and differentiate them from natural ocean noise. The specificity and consistency of these reports made them hard to dismiss. But some experiences weren't just about machines. Sailors often reported chilling sensations of being watched or followed, despite no visible threats. On some occasions, dim lights glowed beneath the waves, only to fade into the depths. A hydrophone operator once claimed to hear what he described as metallic whispers, a faint mechanical murmur echoing underwater. No one ever found the source. Strangely, these odd encounters seem concentrated in particular regions. The North Atlantic, especially the harsh waters around Iceland, saw numerous reports. The Agulhas Bank off South Africa's coast was another hotspot. So were the seas near Japan and the Philippines. These areas all had one thing in common. They were vast, isolated, and difficult to monitor, making them perfect hiding spots for anything that didn't want to be found. One of the most unnerving incidents happened in 1944 near the Ulithi Atoll. A Japanese cargo ship reported being shadowed for over 2 days by an unidentified submarine. Fearing imminent destruction, the crew eventually deserted the ship. When Allied forces arrived, they found the cargo vessel undisturbed and floating peacefully. The submarine had vanished entirely. As more reports poured in, the questions multiplied. If these subs were enemy experiments, why weren't they used more widely? If not enemy craft, what were they? And how could something so advanced continue to vanish so completely, over and over? Even after the war concluded, the enigma didn't. Declassified naval files revealed additional cases, many previously hidden to prevent public panic or to mask gaps in naval security. These documents didn't answer anything. They merely added fuel to the fire. The ghost submarines remained just that, elusive shadows slipping through history's net. For decades, military historians and submarine enthusiasts have debated the reality behind these sightings. Unlike many war mysteries with likely explanations, this one is riddled with oddities that defy standard logic, inspiring both rational theories and fantastical ones. A popular idea is that these were indeed experimental enemy subs, prototypes born of a secret technological arms race. Germany's Type 21 U-boat, for example, was a game changer. With long submersion capabilities and higher underwater speeds, it's considered a forerunner of modern subs. Similarly, Japan's I-400 class submarines were engineering marvels, huge vessels capable of launching aircraft, a concept years ahead of its time. Could these have secretly entered operation in unfamiliar waters? It's plausible, but even these advanced models didn't match the behaviors reported in many encounters. Another theory suggests these subs belong to neutral or unaligned entities conducting secret missions. Sweden, for instance, had submarines and played a key role in Baltic intelligence. It's been speculated that some neutral nations might have covertly operated in war zones for espionage or self-defense. But this idea has problems too. Operating in wartime waters could have risked diplomatic disaster. Plus, there's little to suggest neutral fleets had the speed or stealth to match the mystery vessels. Skeptics claim wartime stress, fatigue, poor visibility, and fear led to misidentifications. Natural events, like large fish schools, underwater tremors, or floating debris could have fooled crews. Sonar and radar technology in the 1940s was rudimentary, prone to mistakes. Some echoes might have been misread as subs when they were terrain or biological noise. While that may explain some cases, it doesn't fit the most compelling ones, where submarines executed precise evasive tactics or jammed communications. Those details are harder to wave away. Then there are theories that push beyond the known. Some propose that these were part of secret Allied or Axis projects, so advanced they remain classified even today. Maybe governments shelved these designs post-war, hiding technologies decades ahead of their time. And then comes the most fringe notion, that these were not human-made vessels at all. The idea of unidentified submerged objects, or USOs, essentially underwater UFOs, has grown in popularity. Supporters argue that the uncanny movements and tech described could be evidence of non-human engineering. It's a controversial theory, but it illustrates just how baffling this mystery is. Another theory suggests deliberate misinformation. Psychological warfare was a key part of World War II. Creating rumors about unstoppable enemy tech could have spread fear and confusion. Some reports may have been fabricated or exaggerated for this purpose. Yet this fails to explain the worldwide consistency of sightings across different navies and times. The ghost submarines of World War II left a deep mark, not only on naval lore, but on how we perceive the ocean itself. These stories highlight just how little we know about the sea's depths and what might lie there. Despite decades of sonar innovation and satellite tracking, much of the ocean remains uncharted and unobserved. The idea that something or someone could operate there undetected isn't just possible, it's likely. Recently, the mystery has gained new attention. As more wartime documents are released and underwater exploration tools improve, researchers are re-examining the phenomenon. Some incidents have been clarified, others remain utterly unexplained. Could some of these crafts have sunk, their secrets lying on the seabed? Could they still be hidden, waiting for discovery? Ultimately, what makes the legend of the ghost submarine so captivating is its universal appeal. This isn't just a tale of wartime intrigue or technological speculation. It taps into something deeper, our timeless fascination with the unknown. These submarines, whatever they were, symbolize the ocean's capacity to withhold its secrets. From the sailors who spotted glimmers in the deep to today's sonar teams scanning miles of seabed, the fascination continues. And as long as the sea keeps its secrets hidden, the story of the ghost submarines will remain a chilling reminder of all that we've yet to uncover. Submerged Legacy, the ancient city of Pavlopetri, the story of the ghost ship. Mary Celeste reminds us of the ocean's capacity to take not just ships and lives, but the answers with them. Yet, it's not only tales of vanishing vessels that lurk beneath the sea. At times, the deep conceals entire societies, once vibrant hubs of trade, life, and culture, now suspended in silence beneath sediment and seawater. Off the southern coast of Greece lies one such submerged enigma. Beneath the tranquil blue waters rests Pavlopetri, a sunken city that predates even the ancient Egyptian pyramids. Unlike the mythical Atlantis, Pavlopetri isn't a legend. It's the oldest underwater city ever unearthed, and its exceptional preservation, with roads, buildings, and courtyards still visible, offers a rare look into a society that flourished over 5,000 years ago. Let's journey into this mesmerizing narrative of archaeology, mystery, and the sea's relentless power. In southern Greece, where rugged terrain kisses the vast blue of the Mediterranean, the Peloponnesian Peninsula has always been steeped in ancient lore. Known for its heroic myths, epic battles, and enduring relics, the region blurs the lines between historical record and fable. But not every one of its secrets rests above the shoreline. Submerged beneath the Laconian Gulf and hidden for millennia is one of modern archaeology's most astonishing finds: the sunken ruins of Pavlopetri. For For generations, fishermen and locals reported odd silhouettes under the sea, outlines of stones and hints of buried architecture. But given Greece's abundance of ancient ruins, few gave these sightings serious thought. That changed in 1967, when British oceanographer Nicholas Fleming, conducting routine seabed surveys, stumbled across something unexpected near a small beach named Pavlopetri. Underwater archaeology at that time was in its early days, relying on basic diving gear and lacking advanced tools like sonar or 3D imaging. Fleming wasn't searching for anything mythical, he was simply mapping the seabed. But in the shallow depths, just meters from the shore, he spotted shapes that couldn't be natural. What appeared were clearly human-made layouts, roads, and building foundations, evidence of an ancient settlement claimed by the sea. The magnitude of the discovery didn't become clear until the following year, when a team of archaeologists from Cambridge University arrived to investigate. What they uncovered wasn't just a scattered collection of ruins, it was an entire city, systematically planned and astonishingly intact. Initial studies dated the site to around 1000 BCE, placing it in the Late Bronze Age. But as research progressed, it became evident that Pavlopetri's roots stretched much deeper into the past, possibly as far back as 3000 BCE, making it the most ancient submerged city ever recorded. What made this site truly unique wasn't just its age, but its exceptional condition. While most ancient settlements have been ravaged by time or looters, Pavlopetri had been naturally protected beneath the sea. Its infrastructure, streets, tombs, and buildings remained nearly as they were thousands of years ago, preserving an authentic snapshot of prehistoric life. To swim over Pavlopetri today is to enter another era. A mere 10 to 12 feet beneath the surface, the city reveals itself in remarkable clarity. Divers and archaeologists can traverse ancient roads that haven't felt human steps in 5 millennia. It's as if the city's residents had only just left. The layout is highly organized, a reflection of sophisticated planning. Narrow roads intersect at clean right angles, forming a grid that would feel familiar even to contemporary urban designers. At the heart of the city sits a large open plaza, perhaps once a communal space or market square, surrounded by both modest homes and more elaborate structures, possibly administrative or public buildings. So far, experts have identified at least 15 structures, though many more are believed to lie buried under sediment. These aren't random ruins. Each structure was deliberately crafted, showing a deep understanding of construction techniques and design. Stone walls, some several feet thick, demarcate buildings that contain hearths, storage rooms, and even drainage systems, showing a keen awareness of hygiene and infrastructure. Among the most fascinating finds are the burial grounds. Scattered across the site are graves filled with pottery, tools, and other cultural items. These artifacts offer insights into the people's diets, trades, and artistic lives. The pottery alone is rich with intricate patterns and symbols, many of which suggest connections with distant cultures. This implies Pavlopetri was part of a broader trading network during the Bronze Age. But this was more than a town of homes and shops. Pavlopetri was also a seafaring hub. The discovery of massive stone anchors and boat launching ramps points to a community deeply tied to maritime life. Nestled within a protected bay with easy access to open sea routes, the city was ideally located for commerce. Archaeologists believe Pavlopetri was central to trade and cultural exchange between regions like the Aegean and the Near East. As research continues, more evidence emerges of its nautical expertise, tools and remains indicating skilled shipbuilders and sailors capable of navigating the Mediterranean's unpredictable waters. With access to resources like timber and arable land, Pavlopetri likely thrived as a center of shipbuilding, agriculture, and industry. But its very reliance on the sea would also be its downfall. The city's ideal location for trade left it exposed to environmental threats. Over centuries, rising sea levels and tectonic shifts began to engulf it. Earthquakes, common in this geologically active area, could have destabilized its structures and coastline. One significant quake might have caused widespread destruction, forcing inhabitants to flee. Repeated seismic events likely worsened the damage, eventually submerging the city entirely. Rising sea levels during the Late Bronze Age may also have played a decisive role. Geological data suggest the Mediterranean underwent not a slow rise but sudden surges in water level, possibly due to climatic changes. Though the city's inhabitants may have tried to adapt, building seawalls or elevating their homes, the forces of nature were unrelenting. Some scholars propose a combination of disasters, earthquakes followed by flooding, as the fatal blow. Imagine a thriving port suddenly shaken by a powerful tremor, its buildings collapsing, the coastline shifting. Soon after, the sea invades, burying the ruins under sand, where they remain untouched for millennia. Yet how Pavlopetri vanished is only part of the enigma. The bigger question is why? What role did this city play in the ancient world? What does its story reveal about the people who built it? One theory posits that Pavlopetri was connected to the Minoan civilization, an early advanced Bronze Age society known for its palace complexes, maritime power, and artistic achievement. If Pavlopetri was indeed a Minoan outpost, its disappearance may mirror the broader collapse of Minoan society around 1000 BCE, brought on by volcanic eruptions, quakes, and foreign invasions. Others believe Pavlopetri was a more localized city-state, part of a coastal network of independent communities. In this case, its decline might have stemmed from shifts in trade routes, economic downturn, or environmental degradation. Perhaps its harbor silted up, making it less useful to traders, or its strategic value declined over time. Whatever the cause, Pavlopetri's tale is one of brilliance and fragility, a city in harmony with the sea, yet ultimately undone by its embrace. Today, its ruins remain preserved just beneath the surface, a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. For centuries, the city lay forgotten, hidden beneath sand and salt. But with modern advances in technology and passionate archaeological efforts, it has returned to the spotlight. One of the most transformative breakthroughs in studying Pavlopetri came in the early 2010s with digital mapping. A team of researchers working with Greece's Ministry of Culture created a highly detailed 3D model using sonar and photogrammetry. These images, capturing even individual stones, revealed aspects of the city never before seen. Crucially, digital methods allow scientists to study Pavlopetri without disturbing its fragile remains. Unlike traditional digs, which can remove or damage artifacts, digital mapping preserves the site in its original state, ensuring future generations can learn from it. Yet Pavlopetri is more than just an archaeological marvel. It has become a symbol of local identity. Communities near the site now view it as a cultural landmark and are actively working to preserve it. Efforts are underway to designate Pavlopetri as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a step that would ensure its protection for years to come. The city's rediscovery has also reinvigorated interest in underwater archaeology. Inspired by Pavlopetri, researchers have begun exploring other submerged ruins worldwide, from ancient harbors in the Mediterranean to lost temples in Southeast Asia. Pavlopetri stands as a beacon of forgotten histories waiting to be found. But despite all we've learned, many questions remain unanswered. Who precisely built this remarkable city? Why did they settle in such a precarious place? And what can their rise and fall teach us today? The story of Pavlopetri is far from finished. As tools and techniques evolve, so too will our understanding of its secrets. For now, the city rests beneath the waves, a silent reminder of our ancestors' ingenuity and their delicate balance with nature. As we surface from this underwater journey, let us reflect on the enduring legacy of Pavlopetri, a city that lived, breathed, traded, and dreamed for thousands of years. Though taken by the sea, its memory endures, a monument to resilience, creativity, and the enduring strength of human civilization.